What's up, guys? Reapshow here. Just got back from seeing The Monkey. Let's talk about it. The Monkey is a 2025 horror film directed by Osgood Perkins, son of Anthony Perkins, Norman Bates himself. Also directed my favorite horror film of 2024, in Longlegs. This is a Stephen King adaptation of a short story of the same name from the 1985 collection of short stories Skeleton Crew. Stars Theo James, Tatiana Maslany, Rohan Campbell is in it, even get Elijah Wood. Brief synopsis centers around two twin brothers who encounter a wind-up monkey in their father's closet. They decide to wind it up, and death ensues. First and foremost, I'd like to just start off by saying I'm a massive Stephen King fan. I mean, there's a reason I have an entire section dedicated to Stephen King. I mean, I even have trucks, for God's sakes. So whenever we get a new Stephen King adaptation, I'm there. I'm definitely excited. I was very excited for this film. It was one of my most anticipated films of 2025. Just talking about the poster first, I just want to kind of talk about that for a second. Really love the poster. It gives me Monkey Shines vibes. Really like the font. Kind of reminds me of Pet Sematary. So this really feels like a Stephen King property. I mean, it obviously is, but it just has that look, just looking at the poster alone. I'm going to keep this relatively spoiler-free. Getting into the positives, first and foremost, the gore and kills are out of this world insane. They're gory as hell, really bloody, really gory. I mean, this is really the first really gory film that I've seen from Osgood Perkins, and it's awesome. I mean, if you're a gore hound like me, you're in good hands. I mean, this is absolutely insane. Buckets of blood. You get some CGI elements there, but it didn't really bother me too much. I think that it worked pretty good. There's some really good practicals as well, so the gore is absolutely incredible. Getting into the monkey itself, I really like the design of it. I really like the way it works and the mechanisms and how it moves and how, you know, just the overall textures. Like when it smiles, the teeth look strangely real. So I really like the overall design and look of the monkey itself. And it's really, honestly, like the eyes are just piercing. It's pretty creepy, honestly. The comedy, you know, this is a very darkly comedic film where it's very nihilistic, but it's got a lot of dark comedy to it. The way the horror is set up, you know, they wind up this monkey and then, you know, somebody dies, and there's no real logic to it, and it kind of is a reflection of life. Like, things happen and you can't really control it, right? So the way it unfolds, you know somebody's going to die. You don't really know who's going to die, but you see it coming. It's got the Rube Goldberg effect, kind of adjacent to Final Destination, to where you see it coming, you know it's going to happen, but the way it unfolds, like the gore serves as a punchline, and I really like that. So, like I said, very darkly comedic, very zany, very pulpy, and in that sense, it really feels like a Stephen King property. You know, you get like a great voiceover. It's set in Maine. Like I said, very pulpy, very zany. Really enjoy that balance of tone between horror and comedy. Really think that it was a pretty good balance. Also, I really appreciate the fact that Osgood Perkins is taking a stab at a comedy horror film, where most of his films are very bleak and just dark, and this is dark, but it's also comedic. You know, the fact that he took on something completely polar opposite to Longlegs, but it's also horror, right? It's very gory, and it's also really funny, and it's a Stephen King adaptation. I mean, there are so many different aspects to it that really challenge him, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does next, because now he's kind of got me on my toes to where I really don't know what to expect. I mean, after seeing Blackcoat's Daughter, then you get Longlegs, I really kind of started to see his identity as a director, but this really kind of throws a a monkey wrench, no pun intended. Now, what I would say, I didn't find it to be a mixed or a negative, but some people may find this to be a negative, where it is very hyper realistic. This is almost like a completely hyper realistic world where things happen that are very outrageous and outlandish, and I mean, you're either on board or you're not, you know, and so it could possibly be polarizing in that sense, I guess. I really like that tone, but I could see people kind of not really being on board with it, I guess. I will say it takes things really far, and I appreciate that. I really had a good time with it. But like I said, I could see people kind of getting worn out with how far they take it. And honestly, there is something more to it than just its surface level of you wind up this monkey and somebody dies, right? I can see more of a, you know, message that's being told of generational trauma, and just there's more there to it than just its surface level, which its surface level is pretty simple. Like, the story is, like I said, the synopsis is really what it is, and you're kind of just watching these events unfold. One thing I would say is, because it's so hyper realistic, it's kind of hard to latch on to anybody, because it's so over the top and zany that it's really not meant to be taken too seriously. So it's hard to kind of latch on to anyone aside from the main character and I guess his son. You know, Theo James does a really nice job getting you to be invested in him with not really giving you a whole lot. Like I said, this feels very Kingian in the fact that you see them as kids and then you see them as adults, right? That feels very It-like, where, you know, it takes place that, you know, 25 years later. I'm glad it was 25 and not 27, because that would have been a little too on the nose. Overall, I really liked it. I had a good time with it. It was a ton of fun. Buckets of blood. That's what I'm there for. It's a Stephen King adaptation. What more could I ask for, right? And it's Osgood Perkins, the guy that directed my favorite film of 2024. Overall, I'd probably give it a 4 out of 5. Probably really enjoyed it. I mean, it delivered on what I was looking for: gore and laughs, and its runtime really serves that. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It does what it sets out to do, and it even kind of has a deeper meaning to it that you can kind of take away. What do you guys think? Are you looking forward to seeing The Monkey? Have you seen it already? Let me know in the comments. That's it for now. Stay tuned for more. Peace, guys.